And then when Arya came around, it was like that attention shifted, and I missed it. Mm. You know, in a selfish way, like I missed having you to myself.
Yeah. What's up, real ones? Welcome back to the Real Relationship Podcast, where we're bringing the real back to relationships.
Yes, sir.
I'm Asha Steele.
And I'm Devin Steele.
And we're so excited that you guys are tuning in today with us.
Yeah, it feels good to be back.
Feels great.
It feels amazing.
Fantastic.
You know, we've been going. Our last episode was at the end of July. Mm-hmm. Like we had to take a month off to really like restructure our life, because it's been crazy.
Yes, and I know. Wait, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know some people probably like y'all took a break before the restructure again. But listen,
man, it's been crazy because as we told y'all before, like we had put Arya into daycare, so that we can schedule out all of our stuff, like producing all of our content. Yeah. But like as we told y'all, the first couple of weeks, which we knew Arya got sick. Mm-hmm. Right, which we knew was going to happen because she hasn't really been around people for a long time. So being able to expose her immune system to different germs, we knew it was going to cause a lot of problems. But it was like every day or every week, it was something new. Yeah. Right. And then as we're following the COVID and this new Delta variant, we're seeing, especially down here in Houston, that it's impacting a lot more kids than the original strand of the coronavirus was, right? And a lot of kids under the age of 2 are in the ICU beds here in Houston. And Arya is about to turn 2, so it's just like we had to make a decision to protect our family and pull her out of daycare. Yeah. So that we don't risk the chance of her, possibly contracting the coronavirus. Because if she doesn't call everything else in that darn daycare, right, then if COVID want to be creeping around, I don't know. And I'm not willing to risk that, especially because of what we've been through in the past. It's like our family's health got to come before any and everything. So we apologize for, it being so long since we recorded an episode. Hopefully that if you're a listener here on the podcast, you made your way over to our Instagram where we've been able to go live, which we do every Wednesday and Friday. Wednesdays are our couples Bible studies. Fridays are our weekly wind down, but we've been able to keep up with that. But trying to, record and edit a podcast is a totally different game than, just pressing go live on your phone and then people show up.
Yeah, but not only that, I think a lot of our viewers, most of our viewers, if not all, have been impacted by just trying to make adjustments the past, almost 2 years with the pandemic. So we just ask that y'all just be patient with us, man. Like we trying to get on this track to give y'all the content that y'all need. We've been trying to, really go in, like you said, with the lives, but just getting the consistency is something that we striving to do. We're striving for excellence in everything we do and just rearranging things and coming up with new concepts, coming up with new, ideas, ways to interact with you guys. We're constantly thinking about how to continue to grow and build this brand, even if we have taken a hiatus because this is our priority. But we know that, family comes first and we got to make sure that we're all in good health. And so just be patient with us, man.
Yeah. And it's going to get crazier. Yeah. Because, Asha, she's been, going through her process to be certified as a relationship coach, which is major for, the work that we're doing is going to be major for y'all because we're going to be able to take the knowledge and the skills that she learns from these courses that she's taking and apply it to better be able to assist y'all with, marriage and relationship coaching. I start school. I'm getting my master's in applied positive psychology.
Clap it up. Yes,
I don't know if you want to clap it up yet because it starts September 1st.
Clap it up.
It starts September 1st. And, looking at the syllabi from my class or the syllabus from all my classes, it's just like, I know it's about to get real. So we're going to figure it out. But every chance we do get on this microphone, we want to make sure that we not only keeping y'all entertained, but we giving y'all that knowledge to really help y'all create relationships and marriages that flourish. So
yes, that real.
I hope that y'all gaining something from us.
Yes. So without further ado, let's get into it because I know y'all guys been waiting. We've been waiting to talk to y'all. So yes. So let's start with our just keeping it real moment.
The first just keeping it real is I'm tired of COVID. I'm tired. Like I felt like we were almost out of it. Mm-hmm. But then with this new variant, it's like you're asking yourself, when is this going to be over?
Yeah.
Because it's like it was a lot of stress that first year. Mm-hmm. A lot of readjusting, a lot of adjustments people had to make, a lot of losses people took. And it's like, yo, can we really take another year? And I'm not saying it in the sense like, yo, we're not strong enough to endure another year, because it's like, all right, we don't really control what happens. Yeah. We only can control how we react to it. So if it's necessary, you know, we'll find a way to push through it. But hopefully, it ends sooner rather than later. Yeah. My second, just keeping it real moment. It's like, you remember like when you were maybe a kid in high school, when you first are dating somebody, and like y'all find the most enjoyment out of being on the phone talking about nothing for hours, falling asleep. I know me and you used to do that when I was out in Cincinnati and you was in Philly. It's like we would be on Skype or FaceTime just talking about nothing, fall asleep, wake up in the morning, and you like right there.
How about you fall asleep, wake up in the middle of the night, and just to see, oh, you still on there, and don't even hang up. You still be on there. Like, we about to wake up together.
But it was like last night, me and Asha had one of those moments where, you know, we turned off the TV, we put down our phones, and we just laid in the bed and talked to like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning about life. And it just felt good getting back to that place, because as we mentioned before, like as you grow older and like you've been together for a long time, sometimes you stray away from those things that made y'all bond so strong in the beginning. Yeah. So like being able to have that moment where we just talked about life. We talked about like what we wanted our kids to say about us when they grew up. Like, what are the things that scare us the most about being parents? Like, what kind of values do we want to instill in our kids? It was just like a great talk. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even like a flower guy, but it was so great of a talk. I went out and bought Asha a bouquet of roses just to be like, yo, thank you.
And I was so surprised. I'm like, oh my goodness, flowers for me.
It was just like, it felt so good. Like it was so rejuvenating to have that type of talk that I just had to like get some flowers, try to match the beauty of it. I don't even know.
Yes, but no, I appreciate it. I definitely think it's refreshing when you can have those moments where it's just like, because like you said, with years of being together, you feel like you've talked about so much, and you just go through the day-to-day of life. You know, you wake up, you do what you got to do, you get the routine going, you get tired, you get the kids ready for bed, and it's just like, I'm exhausted. We go to sleep. And I'll be out, y'all. Like, when I be tired, I'll be out. That one would sit there and be like having the hardest time falling asleep, but I'll be done.
Yo, I really, and it be pissing me off. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, early on, and I still do it here and there, but like when we'll go to bed at the same time and we'll be like, good night, I love you, da da da. 2 seconds later, she over there snoring, and I'm like, yo, how? Like, how are you asleep already? And I'm struggling, so I like move like crazy in the bed or try to make some noise to wake her up, because I'm like, yo, like, what am I supposed to do just tossing and turning all night?
I need it.
It was good. It was good just to be able to spend that time together. We need to do that more often, because it felt amazing.
Yes, it was awesome.
So, that's what I wanted to ask. So, in the midst of us having that conversation, right, we started talking about names inside of your phone.
Yeah.
And I got a question for y'all, right? Is it a red flag if your partner has you in their phone with your government name? Or is it normal to have nicknames in your phone?
I think it's pretty normal. However, I feel like I don't think it's a red flag. I feel like it depends on the timing, to be honest.
So break the timing down for us. Break the timing of when the name has to go from government to nickname.
Okay, so for me personally, it was like when we first started dating, of course, when we met, we was getting to know each other, your name in the phone was Devin, right? Mm-hmm. And it was suiting.
Devin, not Dev, just
not
Devin.
No, it was straight to
Devin
the point.
With an I or with an O?
Devin with an O. I knew how to spell your name.
I'm just making sure.
But no, it was straight to the point, like straight business. I don't know you. I'm trying to get to know you.
Ooh, this was a business transaction. Okay.
But
now I see. Okay.
So Devin. Wow. And then after a few months of us getting to know each other, I was getting comfortable. Like, oh yeah, he, potential boo.
Don't get too comfortable now.
Oh, I got real comfortable.
I switch it up on you.
I got real comfortable, okay? But no, so I switched it to Pumpkin, which I don't know where it came from. I don't even know.
Pumpkin with an N, not a P. Pumpkin. Not an M.
Yeah,
Hold on, let me get that right. Pumpkin, not pumpkin.
But you gotta say pumpkin. Like you can't say pumpkin.
I'm
like
32 years old. I'm a grown man. I'm not saying
pumpkin. Well, yeah, that's what I changed to for whatever reason, right? Mm-hmm. So then when we got into the phase where we were boyfriend and girlfriend, we were dating, we were serious, it was bae. Like bae. I think I had like an emoji, like the little face with the hard eyes.
Okay.
Bae. And then after we, time after that, we got engaged and I'm like, oh, this is official. I got a ring. Yes. Miss Steele. Okay. It was husband.
Husband before we even got married. Just like straight off the engagement.
Not straight off the engagement, but pretty much like the next day. Like, yes, we're getting married, period. And so, and then I had like 3 hearts next to it, like husband with 3 hearts.
Right.
3 heart emojis.
Right. And what was funny about the conversation yesterday, because, we don't hide nothing. Well, we hide some things. We don't hide everything from y'all. But, we started off our marriage rocky, like our engagement phase was rocky because we didn't really work through the issues that we were dealing with before we even got engaged. So I was like, Asha, was there ever a time where it's like you changed my name from husband to something else? Yeah. And go ahead and tell them the craziness you told them.
So y'all. So the reason for me having, I don't even know if that was initially why I did it, but I had the 3 hearts. If that's the thought
that you went into it with, that's some messed up way to go into
I don't know. I don't think it was, but who knows? So I had the 3 hearts. And like, if he was irritating me, mind you, like we said, this was in the engagement phase, right? We wasn't married yet. Right. So I was still in my petty phase. Like if he was getting on my nerves, I was going to be petty about it. So I had the hearts and I would take away a heart if he was irritating me or like pissing me off. Like, okay, you getting a heart and 3 strikes you out. Like I'm not doing it.
Oh, so what is the 3? So if we would have got rid of the 3 heart emojis and it was just left with husband, what did that mean? Like you was going to leave me?
I don't know. No.
Wow. So what was the point?
I don't know.
The crazy thing is I didn't even know that you were taking hearts away.
Like it was just my own thing. I had no clue. Wow. But yeah.
How many hearts do I have today?
You still have 3.
Let me see if let me.
You had 3. Look.
Let me see this. See, that's how I'm gonna know if I'm in the doghouse from now on. I'm gonna go check your phone and look how many hearts I got by my name.
Look, 3 hearts. Right, I'm calling you.
Me for it. All right, I got 3 hearts, so I'm good. But now I had when I first met Asha, she got put in my phone as Asha, and then probably after hold on, my computer tripping. Then probably after a year of me getting to know her, and just experiencing life with her, I changed her name to Lucky. Mm-hmm. In my phone. And I changed her name to Lucky in my phone for 3 reasons. Number 1, she has a 3-leaf clover tattooed on her foot because she says she has Irish in her.
Not she says, she does.
Well, she has Irish in her.
Yeah.
Right? She also loved Lucky Charms when I met her.
What?
You did. You love Lucky Charms. You would just eat the marshmallows out of the Lucky Charms.
Yes, but I didn't love them for me to be did. Like...
You still eat to this day, you eat the Lucky Charms cereal bars. Oh, say something now. Exactly. And that just came to my mind too. So don't even try to act like you ain't love Lucky Charms. Because I don't know nobody in America that eats those stale, old Lucky Charm bars from the gas station down the street from my house, who they rarely, listen to me. Hold on. I'm going on track, but I'm just going to let y'all know, yo, if y'all ever go to the Shell by our house. If y'all
you
know
don't even need to say all that because they don't even know where we live.
I ain't about. You don't know what people know. You saw Kanye them put Drake address out there. I don't know who got our address out there or whatever. Goodness. But make sure you check the date inside this gas station because my man don't ever replace the old food like he just sell it. But back on to our story.
So not necessary.
So you had a 3-leaf clover. You eat Lucky Charms, and then I felt like you was my good luck charm because we were going through, I was experiencing a lot of hardships in my career and in my life at this time. And it was like when I met Asha, she was my good luck charm because she helped bring me out of a lot of the dark places that I was going through.
See, we could have just went with that one. That one could have been one and done.
But that wouldn't have been the truth.
It could have.
I had to give my whole truth so it can set me free. So that's why I called her lucky. But it just made me think like, yo, do people really do this? Do all relationships have nicknames in their phone for their partner, or do y'all just go straight with the government?
Nah, I think it's like you have to get to a certain phase to have a cute pet name. Like, don't come off the rip.
Oh, like, what name?
It's called like a pet name, like a cute pet name.
I'm a human.
Not like a pet, like, that's just a terminology. Mm-hmm. But like you have to like earn it in a sense. Like, don't come off just like calling someone just like.
How do you earn pumpkin?
Like, you don't earn pumpkin. Like, you don't say that you earn it. I have to, like, the person has to feel comfortable. As the commitment increases. Right. Like, I have to feel comfortable with saying, oh, yeah, this is somebody that I'm into. Let me give them a nickname because, Devin, it doesn't suffice.
Okay.
But no, that's like, it reminds me because I don't like to be called Asha no more. And Devin has a problem with calling me Asha.
No, I don't do it all the time. But like a couple of months ago, this is probably like last month, I was like, yo, Asha. And she was like, Asha?
Don't call me that.
What you calling me Asha for? I'm like, yo, what are you talking about?
Who is Asha?
That is your name.
Who?
That is your name that your parents gave you.
Who?
What are you doing?
No.
What?
If you're not going to call me Miss Still, then you better call me Boo, baby.
Imagine me calling you Miss Still.
Exactly. Imagine it. So imagine you calling me Asha. I am not Asha. I am Boo. I am Bay. No sense. Okay?
Makes absolutely no sense.
Yes.
But here we are. We want to hear from y'all. Is it a red flag if your partner has your government in their phone? And how long should it take before you give your partner a nickname? We want y'all to reach out to us. Send us a DM. Send us a text message. Send us an email. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
So you want to get into today's episode?
Yes.
What we talking about today?
You guys, we are discussing before the children.
Before the children. Yeah, that's what we told them we was going to discuss on our live.
Yes.
Like if y'all are listening to this and you don't have any kids and you're in a relationship, you may not know what we're talking about, but pay close attention because this is information you need if you plan on having kids.
Yes, get ready.
If you do have kids, you know exactly what we're about to talk about. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about the decline in most relationships once a child is born.
Yes.
It is crazy. Because research shows that 2/3 of families report marital dissatisfaction a year after having a child. It's crazy. That means 66% of marriages are on the verge of failing because they are no longer happy because before the child came, the relationship was centered around the two individuals, right? You were able to pour into each other, love on each other, pick up and go wherever you wanted to go without worrying about having a child. And then when you have a child, your relationships become center focused or child focused or child centered. And you don't really put as much effort and thought and time into continuing to grow the actual relationship that caused the child to be here. And I know that we experienced this, and this is why we wanted to touch on this subject and just share our truth.
Yeah, I think so. For us, as you guys know, before we had Arya, we had Leah, but Leah is my bonus daughter, so I didn't experience, the whole pregnancy and phase until I had Arya, and us really going through that together. And so it was a journey. Like, you know, if you guys followed us, y'all saw our little videos. We was making little videos, working out together, like prepping, doing things still as a team, right? Throughout the pregnancy. And so of course, when Arya comes, like, I'm like laser focused on being a mom, which I think is expected for most new moms, because it's like, it's a new experience. You want to be the best version of yourself. You want to make sure that you can do all these things to cater to your child, because now you like your mama bear. So you're in protection mode. You ready to, you know, just make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And so that was me. Like, I was so focused on trying to do everything right, get everything right, be there for her, nurture her, that I kind of got, not even kind of, I got sidetracked from being a wife you per just se.
Had that So Raven moment where you just stared off to the middle.
Yeah, like being
kind of.
Yeah, like I'm just being honest. Like, I was so focused on being a mom, because I had been, not that I had been a wife that long, but I had been play that role to you for quite some time, right? And so it was like, okay, now this is a new position that I am, a new role, and I was just so focused on making sure that I was the best version of myself in that role.
Right. Yeah, and it's crazy. Like, it should have been expected. Mm. You know what I mean? Because becoming a mom, becoming a parent is a tough task.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of your attention shifts to being that nurturer and that provider for your child. Mm-hmm. And I just remember, like, I felt like you set a certain expectation by the way you showed up for me. Mm. You know, since we started dating, like, you just was always there, showing up for me, showing me how much I care, just being attentive to me. And then when Arya came around, it was like that attention shifted, and I missed it. Mm. You know, in a selfish way, like, I missed having you to myself.
Yeah.
And instead of me, like, harboring those emotions, because, like we told y'all before, like, a lot of times relationships fail because people struggle to talk about the little things. Right. And then they end up just mounting together and then causing destruction. I knew that I had to bring that to you so that we could find a way to fix it. But I struggled with knowing how to bring it to you, because I didn't want you to feel like you weren't doing a good job. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to find the right way to explain how I was feeling, and not to say that you're doing something wrong, but it's just, I miss my friend.
Right.
I miss my partner. I miss my life partner. And then being able to sit down and just talk about what should be our expectations moving forward, because expectations have to change when a child is introduced, because you're naive if you think that you can still live life the same way that you lived before, you know, you have children.
Right. I think it's important to have that conversation. Like you said, that you had to bring it up, or you mentioned it to me. Mm-hmm. But also, I think the way that you approach the conversation is important as well, because a lot of times you can, which I can say I have felt as well, like in that moment of hearing that, it's just like, well, dang, like I'm failing in a sense as a wife, right? I'm not meeting a certain need or expectation of my husband. So you kind of look down on yourself, like you're not doing or fulfilling what you need to fulfill in your relationship. Yeah. And then it's just like, you kind of harp on it and you get down on yourself. But it's like, in that moment, I had to come to a realization to just say, you know, it's okay in a sense, right? Mm. Like, I know that I have to fulfill, you know, my duties in a sense as a wife and be there for my husband, but this new role as a mom is new to me, and I'm still trying to learn and maneuver and figure out this world of being a new mom. So in a sense, I had to give myself a little bit of grace and understanding that it's okay if I don't get it right, but also understand that I had to just strive to make sure that I can do the best on both ends, because it's a balancing act. Like, you're not going to always get it right as a wife. You're not going to always get it right as a mom. You're not going to always get it, half the stuff you do in life right. Yeah. But it's just like how you balance and how you move forward and just striving to do better, I believe.
Is there anything that I did specifically? Let's say that there's somebody else out there that's going through this. Like, is there anything specifically that I did to help in that case? Yeah. Or is there a way that I brought that to you where you didn't really feel attacked?
I mean, I feel like just having the conversation, like you said, in a light of sharing that, you know, I want to spend more time with my partner. A lot of times I feel like in those moments, it's so much built up frustration that it just spills out maybe in a argument or aggressive manner where it's just like you're just frustrated. Criticism. So you're just getting, you know, criticism, contempt, stuff like that, versus you just simply saying, I want my friend. I just want to hang around. I just want to, you know, kick it. I want to love on you, you know, how we did before the baby got here. Mm-hmm. Like, I just want to enjoy our time together. And I would appreciate it if we could just spend more time together. Like, I know you're focused on being a mom. And I think you doing that and saying, beginning the, you know, what you needed or asking for by saying, you know, you're doing a great job being a mom. Like, I see you. I see all that you're doing. You're doing an amazing job, even though I know that it's hard. Mm. And I know that it's these struggles, but I would just love for us to spend more time together, you know? So I think definitely the way that you approached it was key for me, that it wasn't like, oh, I feel attacked. Like, well, dang, I'm just doing it all wrong, you know? Yeah. But I also think you were very sensitive and effective just trying to be understanding of how I was feeling as well. And I can, like, just give an example of one time when you had went away. I believe you had like a speaking engagement, right? And it was like a 2-day. He wasn't going that long, like 2 days maybe. And this was like fairly new of me just having Aria. Your mom had came down, my mom had came down, but at that point, everybody had left, and then you had to leave right after that. And so that was the moment where it was like, it hit me like, oh, I'm here by myself, doing this by myself. And I think Aria realized that we was by ourselves as well, because she just started tripping. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So it was like the middle of the night, and I had to text you, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. Like, I feel horrible. Yeah. And I just think your words of encouragement in those moments where I was going through that, and just being there to be a support system, knowing that, yeah, I've been exhausting myself and my energy and focusing on being a mom, you just was always encouraging and uplifting. Mm. So when we had that talk where it was like, oh, I need this from you, I didn't necessarily feel so bad about what you were saying, because I had the support of you along the way. Yeah,
man. Like, yeah, it's tough. And one of the things that, you know, we try to do, like, after having that talk, is having those habits of connection. Yes. As for, you know, people who've been listening to this podcast for a long time, like, habits of connections are when you set aside a specific amount of time where you just connect with your partner, where there's no distractions, there's no kids, there's no phones. If y'all habit connection is not watching a certain TV show, there's no TV. Like, it's just y'all just talking about life, not talking about relationship issues, marital issues, but just talking about y'all, reminiscing on the past, talking about your future, being fully present in the present. Yes. You know what I mean? And one of the things that Asha did when Aria was in daycare, which I loved, and I hope that we find a way to get back to it, was she had scheduled us day dates for every other Thursday out of the month, where we just hop in the car and we just travel around Houston to try, you know, new restaurants, go to different venues, just get back to us and create memories and moments with each other. And like I said, man, I loved doing those things. Like, it allowed us to just focus on us and remember why we were together. Although we have kids, although we have a company that we're running together, all of that only became possible because we was intentional about, you know, building our relationship. So if we want to be able to sustain those things, the business, the family, we have to go back to the foundation, which was just us. Mm-hmm. So, you know, hopefully we can get back to it as we continue to try to find ways to, you know, rearrange our life and our schedule. But those moments of connection really just helped us connect.
Yeah. I think it's so important what you're saying, that, like, to date your spouse, like, continue dating your spouse, because like you said, that made me go back to when we first started dating, like, to have those moments of connection where it's like, oh, we're just getting to know each other, like, in the beginning, we're just doing things, and we're so involved in each other and wanting to know more and just wanting to just enjoy each other's time and company is very important. So I think dating your partner, dating your spouse is important to do. Yeah. Even years after y'all had been together, you know, and I think that in itself helped us to, you know, reconnect. Even with you talking about the days that I tried to have a zoo, that kind of got messed up, but we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, I think just being spontaneous, like there was the one time where you had rented the slingshot and we just drove around Houston, like enjoying like the Houston weather. Like we were singing in the car.
Not enjoying the Houston freeways though, because she's tripping. Like she was like on some daredevil type stuff. Like let's drive all the way downtown, and we lived like 40 minutes from downtown on the slingshot. 18-wheelers like right here. Like I'm looking at the wheel of an 18-wheeler right next to my face, and she just over there dancing, having a good old time. And I'm like, yo, get me away from this truck. But after we got off the highway, it was really cool just to drive with no destination. Like it's just driving around having fun.
It was a great time. Just like having those moments where it's just spontaneous and you're just going out and enjoying each other's company. I think that's really how you can just go back to reconnecting to each other, you know? Yeah. And I think that's what helped us in a sense of just doing those things like that. Like even what you're saying, the Happy Dog Connection, like we have our shows where we'll sit down and we make sure that like we have our so-called date night, you know, on Friday night, but it's us watching our shows and, you know, it's us having a glass of wine after the wind down and, you know, just doing things like that to really be intentional about spending time together and enjoying each other's company, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely necessary. And I know like sometimes when you have kids, it's hard to leave your kids with somebody if you don't like really trust people around your kids, which often happens when you have a newborn. But you have to understand this. Or sometimes you may feel like you're a bad parent from leaving your kid because your kid may cry when you leave. You just want to be there because they're so used to you being there. What you have to understand is this. If the best thing that you can give your child is a happy, loving, nurturing home. And the way that you create a happy, loving, nurturing home is by creating a happy, loving, nurturing relationship. So by you pouring into your relationship, by you pouring into your partner, you're actually pouring into your child because they're going to be able to see that love and affection that you're displaying, and they will have the right outlook on what love is supposed to look like and feel like. So don't be ashamed about, you know, going out and leaving the baby with somebody that you trust to go pour into your relationship, because at the end of the day, it ends up helping them.
Yeah. I think another thing, just to go back to what we were talking about just being intentional with the conversations and just having that moment, I think it's important to have those conversations, right? About
expectations.
The expectation, but the conversation about, you know, how you feel in those moments. Because I think that's a big thing that I feel like a lot of people haven't done or don't do, in which I feel like we didn't do it initially, is having a conversation of how you feel in that role, right? Because you could get in a position where you felt, you know, oh, this is new to me because this is a new experience for you and me to go through, and you not having all of me, pretty much. Before Arya came, like, I was in a sense of having a caretaker role, like always taking care of you when you had injuries, always like being there, doing whatever I need to do to make sure that you were good.
Popping and that thing for me.
He always got to go there. But no, like, so when things change and, you know, your world shifts because now, you know, you bring a child into the world, that changes. So having that conversation is important because, like you said, I was in a new role. I was in a new phase. I didn't know what I was doing. It was something that I had to learn along the way. And you had to learn how to be that support for me as I was learning through that. And I feel like a lot of times it builds up frustration because you don't communicate that, right? And that ties into also sexual frustration because I feel like that's something that a lot of people experience, because once you are in that new mom role and you trying to figure it out and you got to worry about, you know, making food and bottle, and all my moms out there that's nursing, because, you know, we went from trying to barely get through the 2-week phase that they tell you to go through to almost going on 2 years, okay? But you trying to do all of that juggling with just being in that role of a mom, and then also trying to take care of the house, and then knowing that you have to also take care of your spouse, your husband, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And you get drained, and I feel like that leads into the sexual...
Not getting any nookie.
Deprivation. You sit up there, and that's a cause of it. And I just wanted to touch on it because I feel like we can do a whole another podcast talking about that. But I think it's big for us to just be able to have those conversations, because a lot of times when you get to that phase, that's where, if you don't talk about it, infidelity comes in, because you're not meeting the needs of your spouse, but also you feel like maybe your needs are not met because you feel so exhausted, and your partner maybe could help you in those areas, but y'all not communicating.
Yeah. So let me drop a gem for all my men out there who, may be sexually frustrated because a baby that came into the picture, and they now hanging on the boob that you used to hang on. You ain't getting it as much because the baby's sleeping inside the bed, and then when you do, y'all sneak off to go to the closet, the baby wake up, you sneak off to go into the living room, the baby interrupting. So it's just like you can't get into your groove. Or sometimes your wife she don't be in the mood. You know what I mean? So I want to just drop y'all a quick little gem of some things that y'all can do in order to help bring back that physical intimacy into your relationship. Me and Asha was listening to a video by John Gottman, and in this video, it was talking about how commitment in relationships help lower the fear in relationships. And he was explaining about how women have a different relationship with fear. And there's 3 things that women need in order to, or 3 things that men need to do in order to make their woman want to have physical intimacy. The first thing was that your partner need not be stressed. Meaning that when a child comes along, like, there's a lot of stress that they take on. It's like their days become task oriented. They just focus on getting things done and not really enjoying life because they're just so focused.
I gotta change Pampers. I gotta change clothes.
After you go down the whole list. Here we go.
I gotta wash bottles. I gotta cook food. I gotta take care of this. I'm sorry.
And there ain't no room on that to-do list for sex because they be drained.
I'm tired.
So one of the things that we can do as men in order to help relieve some of the stress is just help out around the house with stuff. Like doing the dishes, cleaning up the living room, vacuuming, taking out the trash, like doing what you're supposed to do, stepping up and just helping out. Also just being more interactive with the child. Because what you also learn is that mothers, like fathers, play a huge important role in their kids' life, especially in early childhood in their development. Because moms are more nurturing, like they help care, they help express emotion to the babies. But fathers teach the babies how to play, because at the end of the day, we're kids at heart. So when it comes to plans, like dad has that master. That's why you see, like with me or like most dads, we the ones throwing the babies up in the air while the mom's tripping like, yo, don't do that. We swinging them around, running.
About to have a heart attack.
Yeah, it's like it's easy for us to just get into that playful mode and teach them how to play. And when a father's not really present, the child misses out on that. So just being able to help out around the house, step up and help out with the kids is major. Another thing that he talked about that women need in order to want to be physically intimate is emotional intimacy. Like we talk to y'all about that all the time, that when a woman doesn't feel emotional connection to her partner, she feels like she's just like a sex toy. Like you just pick her up when you need to, get your rocks off, and then you're not really caring for her emotionally.
Right.
And the third thing that they need is some type of erotic situation where it's just like you're taking them out on a date, you're renting a slingshot, driving around town, because I'm pretty sure the sex was probably amazing after the slingshot. Can't remember, but it probably was.
So well, if you can't remember, then it's like...
because it's been a lot of great, so I can't, you know what I mean. So like just being able to focus on those 3 things to help you bolster the amount of sex in your relationship.
Yeah. So I think doing all of that is important. Yes, definitely. It will help you be more intentional with your partner and building that connection. Because like you said, we experienced that, and now we have turned the corner and going down the straight and narrow of just getting back on track and being more attuned with each other. And you know what? That made me think of recently going to Napa Valley, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, you know, you guys, what was it? Maybe like 2 weeks ago, we went out to Napa Valley for an event, and that was literally the first time that we were both away from Arya.
Yeah.
Right?
She was born. Yep.
Yes. And y'all, low-key, I was panicking, but I just knew, I'm like, I need this. I need this break. But I'm like, still like, I had one side of me like, oh, girl, you can't go. You gotta stay here with her. But the other side like, girl, you better go. You need to go. And so we went out there, and first of all, I needed my sleep, okay? What? I was not.
She came on the plane with a whole sleep package. Like, she was ready to.
I had
like, she was at a
eye
spa.
mask, eye mask, my little blanket. I was ready because I knew I was gonna get some rest after being with this baby all these months, years. Yeah. Okay,
and because like she said, she was not that when we got on the plane, and she was not that when we got to the hotel. And you know, I didn't even bother her when we was at the hotel because I'm like, you know what? Arya going on 2 years old. We still co-sleep with Arya. And so Arya be up under Asha all the time, all through the night. So Asha don't really get a good night's sleep. Me, I sleep through all that mess. I ain't hearing when Arya making all the noise, and when she move, I ain't really feeling that when she kick me in my face because she be sleeping mad wild. I don't feel none of that. So I be getting my rest in. But I know Asha having that weekend without Arya was huge, so I let her sleep a lot of the time. But then when we were up, we had a chance to go sightseeing, to go wine tasting. It was an amazing event out there, and just being able to connect with each other one-on-one with no kids was like rejuvenating to me and our relationship. Yeah,
it was refreshing. I feel like you need those moments, right? Yeah. You need those moments where you can just, like you said, reconnect and really focus on you two and getting back to y'all, because with the day-to-day, you know, stresses of life, not even just stresses, but just like your role that you play as a parent, the role that you play as a husband or wife, like you kind of get distracted of just being intentional with your partner and just loving on each other and doing what you really need to do for each other to pour into your relationship. And so I think that was very refreshing for us and for our relationship to just have that alone time together, just me and you. So yeah, I think it's big for you guys to do that. Even if you're not able to leave, you know, we're still in the midst of a pandemic. So it's kind of hard to just pick up and travel and leave with all the precautions that you try to take just to make sure that you're healthy. But just creating that environment however you can, like whether it's just like a staycation where you're doing something local, or even if not, if you have somebody that's close by that you trust to, you know, take care of the kids, go ahead and just create that oasis in your home, you know, create that experience in your home where it's just the two of you and y'all enjoying each other's company and just really creating that night and that romance for y'all. I think that's very big and important to do because we need that. You need to date your partner.
Yeah, and I think by like going on these dates, it really opens your eyes to not only see who your partner is, but to see who you are. Because I think that helps us. Like the other day, me and Asha was watching something on Netflix. I don't even remember the name. I wish I did because it's a great show. But I think they were having some type of like ballet. I don't even know what it was, but it was like some crazy type vibe. And Asha was like, do you like stuff like that? And normally I would be like, nah, I don't like that type of stuff. But I was like, you know what? I don't even know. Like, no longer am I going to say, no, I don't like something that I've never really tried before.
Yeah.
Because I realize that, you know, as life goes on, I'm continuing to grow. And, like, I want to experience new things and find out who I truly am. Because for so many years, like, my main focus was just football, that I never really created time for other things, to explore other things. So now I'm at a point where it's like, I'm not fighting life anymore. Right. Like, I'm not just doing things because that's how I've always done it. I'm not doing things just because that's how I've always been taught. Like, I think now is a time for me to just explore who I really am, the type of things or hobbies that I like. Like, I asked Asha the other day to just help me. Like, introduced me to new things that I never thought that I would do before, so I can just get a better understanding of who I am. And I think that by going on dates with your partner, even if you've been in a relationship for a long time, like we've been in a relationship for 9 years, it's like nobody is still the same. Like you don't remain the same over the 9 years. So even if you think you've done everything in those 9 years that you could possibly do, that person is not the same. So it's important for you to go out to be able to learn who your partner is, just to keep things exciting. Because the moment that, you know, your relationship becomes task oriented, where it's just like y'all wake up and it's just like a to-do list where it's just like, we got to get this stuff done. And you don't really focus on, you know, keeping that excitement. I think that helps lower the walls around your relationship for somebody that brings something exciting and new to your relationship to, you know, ruin it.
Yeah. So I just think just to conclude the conversation, I just think it's important for you guys to just really focus on each other, like get back to each other, like what it is that you like, what you don't like, doing things that's spontaneous, having fun, enjoying life together, you know. Like you said, it is a priority to raise your children and do all that you can do to make sure that you're being attentive to them, but understand the reason why they're here, right? Yeah. And like you said, creating that environment for them just to really flourish and enjoy life and feel loved. I know that with us, when Arya sees that love, like she's such a loving baby. Like she's so nurturing and caring already. And I think just her being able to really see that from her parents, it exudes love from out of her, and she just shows it like whenever she goes. Like she just exudes it everywhere. So I think it's important for, you know, for you to create that energy and that environment within your household, because it's really important and it really impacts the children.
Yeah, and it's like we try to do that as much as possible. I ain't gonna sit up here and say like we got it, you know, it all down packed. There are times where, you know, we may bicker and fuss in front of the kids, but we have a conversation like, yo, we can't do that. Like we setting a bad example, and we try to like just give them as much love as possible. And we can really see that that's paying off, because there'll be times where, you know, we'll be chilling in the living room doing absolutely nothing. And Arya just say out of nowhere, I love you, Daddy. Like out of nowhere. And when she can say that out of nowhere without being prompted to do it, like I'm not saying it first, it's just like, yo, we doing something right.
Yeah.
And like she almost too, I don't know if she can really conceptualize what love actually means, but the way she said it be making me feel like she know what it means. But it's just like she's expressing what she's receiving. So it's so important to pour into your relationship so that you can pour the right things into your children. Because if you're pouring negativity or more negativity, because there's always going to be some sort of negativity as you're growing together. But if you're pouring a lot of negativity into your relationship, that negativity is going to spill over into your kids. So I think that's the way I would want to frame it then. So it's not about pouring into yourself so that you can pour into your children. You pour into your relationship, and whatever you are pouring into your relationship, it spills over into your children. So if you're pouring negativity, that negativity is going to spill onto your children. If you're pouring positivity, you're pouring hope. You're pouring commitment into your relationship. That is going to spill over into your kids as well.
Yes. So we hope you guys enjoy this episode. We hope that, you know, you can resonate with what we're saying, because we know a lot of couples, like Devin said with the statistics, experience it. And we have been creating and trying to day to day, trying to create a different environment for our relationship, for our family, just to make sure that we are not, you know, losing track of each other. You know, we're not letting go of that. So I think that it's very important for us to do that. Just make sure that you're being intentional with your partner, and make sure that you're loving on your partner, having those conversations, you know. If it's a tough conversation, it's okay, but have that conversation, because in the long run, it's going to benefit your relationship. And so we hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
You know,
stay tuned.
Yes. And you guys, I'm sorry, but before we get done, just a disclaimer, we have been very, we have been striving to continue to be great for you guys, trying to come up with content, new ways to interact with you guys. If y'all follow us on social media at Relationship Podcast on Instagram, make sure that you tune in to our lives. We've been trying to be consistent with that. We're trying to make sure that we get a schedule for you guys for the podcast. But like I said, give us grace, give us your time and patience, because we're working on it. We got a lot coming, and we just going to keep doing this thing, right?
Yeah, so shout out to y'all for always being there with us, sticking by our side.
Yes.
You know, sending us the messages that give us the inspiration and letting us know how impactful this is being in your lives, because there are times where our lives get extremely busy. Mm-hmm. So, but when we see the messages from you guys, we understand the importance of this podcast. So we try, when we do have a chance to record the podcast, we try to give y'all some good insight to really help y'all create relationships and families that flourish. So we appreciate y'all's support.
Yes. So until next time, you guys, keep it real.
Yes, sir.